My mother, ever since I was old enough to understand, said you were adopted. I still remember I was probably in grade school. She said you were adopted. We couldn't have children, but you were a gift from God. You were chosen, and you're just very special. And so I always knew I was adopted. My mother said before I got married, why don't you find, your adoptive family over there? Let's see if you have anybody over there. I said, why? I have a good family here. I had many nieces and nephews and lots of family here. I didn't care about it until I lost my parents here, and I felt like an orphan. And then that's when, I started thinking about it, but I didn't know how to go about it. I spoke no Italian. I didn't know where to look. My mother died in childbirth having me. I was the youngest of 5. And my father, his mother, then was going to raise me. Because when I was born, I had a brother 19, 17, and my sister was 9, and my youngest brother was 4, and then me. Back then, men couldn't handle taking care of children. His sister said, why don't you give her up for adoption? Because, everybody's rich in America, give her away. At the time, there was no work back in the 50s in southern Italy. He went up north to Torino to work. He came back, and I was gone. And there was a big fight. My father tried to find me. And they said, back then the adoptions are closed. You cannot. She's happy. She's with American family. You cannot open up the adoption files. So he died 1988, and I'm gonna start crying. And that went with me. She said, you just turned instantly Italian because, I always talk with my hands, but she said, when you went over there, you were just, even though we couldn't speak the language to each other, they didn't know any English, I knew no Italian, but we bonded like we never left. It was, even though we had to have an interpreter, and some of my younger nieces and nephew could speak a little bit of English because they were taught some English in school. And then, that was, how we did that. But it was just kind of hard to explain. It was just the bond was there.